on the road again. Let's see how this new mic performs. There's going to be a lot more wind as I don't have a windscreen. It feels so weird riding this bike without a windscreen. Look at this guy. There's always one. People constantly asking me to do wheelies when I ride the WR. It's just not my bag, man. It's not what I'm into. You could say I'm not confident with them, and it's not something I want to work on. So I'm used to riding bikes without windscreens. That's a given. My cruiser, my dual sports, and I guess I'm no higher up than I am on any of my dual sports. But it's just I guess the design of it. It's meant to catch the wind and then push it up over the windscreen and up over your head. When you don't have that, it kind of just slams you even more than normal. I've got to say, it shouldn't make that much a difference, and it might completely be a placebo effect. But after giving this bike the once over, a clean and a service, nothing else, just flushing the oil out, changing the oil, it seems to be far more responsive. Oh, and I clean the chain, yeah, and check the chain tension. This is the thing when you have to say, do I trust the factory services? You know, the guy that had this before got it pretty much serviced all the way till last, I think even the last service he had was with Suzuki or his dealership. I have to double check the logbooks, but that's the thing, can you always trust the logbooks? Because I don't think a lot of time you can. The reason I say you can't trust the logbook is I've known people to work for service departments now, not bike service departments, nothing to do with bikes, to do with so-called prestige cars, but the stories they told me about what they did and then what the customer got charged was absolutely outrageous. So I think, and from what I know from my experience with new and used vehicles, it's the reason I stay away from the service departments at car dealerships, because that's where they make their money. And particularly I remember taking someone's BMW in for a factory recall service, and the service department was plush. Like you could have a coffee. The receptionist would make you a nice coffee with the machine. Plush couches, nicer than my apartment. And I could see how they could justify that, because they didn't just have that in the showroom. It was this for the service department, right? And I remember going into service departments for Toyota and what else did I have? Nissan. Yeah, you'd be lucky if you got a seat. There was certainly no customer service. It was just like, yeah, drop your car off if you really want to wait, or we'll run you home. Nissan was pretty good. Toyota surprisingly wasn't that great. My parents have had their car service there a lot, and they do run them home and stuff like that, but you know, there's no frills, I guess, with the service department, but you get what you pay for. I'm getting to the point. The bills I saw come out with these people who had been waiting for a while to get their cars serviced. Now, they didn't have factory recalls, they were just paying for a service. It was ridiculous. It was like they had these salesmen, these representatives come out and talk to them about beautiful day out there. Have these representatives talk to them about the work they'd done. The people didn't have a clue. And the bills were like $2,000, $2.5 grand, $3 grand. And I was like, wow. I mean, obviously they've got a decent income, they need to, but with the work they were doing, there was no more than $500 worth of labour in it. And then, I don't know what you're saying for parts, but there's no way it was worth what they were paying for these services. And I know that. I know modern BMWs are a pain in the butt. Modern cars are a pain in the butt. Because you have to, especially BMW and Audi, you've got to have their computer, so it's only a few people. It's just such a con. You've got to have their computer. Not everyone can service it. And then your average mechanic, well, your average backyard mechanic definitely can't afford them. And then your average mechanic's not going to invest in it unless they're working on a lot of BMWs. Depends on the area. In my area, in this area, yeah, it's going to be popular. Audis and BMWs, Porsche, it's going to be worth investing in the equipment. Some areas it's not. You know what I mean? But getting back to my point, do I trust the logbooks? Look, it's nice to have them filled out. It's nice to know that the bike's not going to completely fly apart. But has it been looked at thoroughly? No, because when I pulled the sprocket guard off this thing, it was filthy. When I cleaned the chain and started getting into it, I realised how filthy it was, and I was like, you know, I believe it's just in spec, but the chain's on its way out, and the sprockets are on the way out on this thing too. I mean, it's got no issue. It's not a safety issue right now, but it's something I'll change in the near future, for sure. Definitely think it'll make a difference. And the reason there's no windscreen on is in that video. So if you check out that video where I clean the bike right down and I clean the chain and change the oil, I thought it'd be a fantastic idea to take the windscreen off, right? For drummers, 4 hex bolts. Take the windscreen off, give it a good clean, put it back, look schmick, famous last words. It says I pulled it off. I pulled the mounting plugs out with it, which is the stupidest thing in the world, Givey. I'll apologise if it's not Givey and it's Suzuki, but the mounting plugs for the windscreen, mounting sockets, they're all deteriorated, so they're all just disintegrated. I don't even know how the windscreen was held in place. Hopes and prayers. And it's not even 10 years old. So I've got to figure out, and it wasn't easy to push them back in. It's a real do your research and start pulling off all the cowlings and all the covers. And so I didn't have time for that. So I had to ride back on the freeway from where I was. 110 kilometers an hour. No windscreen. It was an experience, let me tell you. It was at night. It's freezing cold. And when I say freezing by Sydney standards, yeah. What's happening here? This is not the place you want to be stopped. So yeah, until I can get the mounts or jimmy something up or get the time to just pull all the cowlings off and rig something up, it shouldn't be that terrible. Oh, that's terrible. Glare. So my helmet's not fogging up, it's my Ray-Bans. Tom Cruise got me. Definitely not Top Gun. So how much does a service cost on a bike like this on the V-strom? Like just servicing it yourself? Well, it was $25. So I got all the stuff from Super Cheap Auto. Actually, I'd already bought the oil previous, but I'm telling a lie. I didn't get the stuff. I got the stuff for the V-Star from Super Cheap Auto. I got the stuff for this from a bike shop, and it was expensive, the filter. In future, go to Super Cheap Auto for your bike filter. They can order it for you, or go to a different shop. But the bike shop I went to, it's one in the heart of Sydney. It was pretty expensive. Even the guy working there was like, yeah, it's expensive. It's $25 for the tiny oil filter they have on here. This is full synthetic oil. Takes a bit of oil. You're better off buying the 4 litre pack. 4 litres is about $100. So for $125, you service your bike super easy. Being a car guy, to me that's expensive. But, you know, because you can get really good oil for a car for like $50, but not full synthetic. I guess it's not that expensive. I guess full synthetic's gone up as well, but I was really surprised at the oil filter, like $25 for that. Anyway, it felt good to get the first service out of the way. I just cleaned the chain with kerosene.